Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here we are again. As you guys seen in the description, today I'll be reviewing my Kranzle 1622ts. So I've been having this pressure washer for a few months now. I think I got it in, I'm gonna say I got this thing in March, and it's now June, pretty much the end of June. So I've been using it for quite some time now, pretty much ever since I got my van. So I've always been a fan of electric pressure washers due to the fact with their smart total stop trigger. And the first electric pressure washer I ever started with was the Nozzle, which I have mounted here on the wall. I got it here so I could use it just right out of the shop, and I have to use the one in my van all the time. So you see, I had that Nozzle in my previous van, and I had it for over a year, and it did great. And eventually it gave out because apparently it's not designed for gravity fed. So you know, you put a lot of wear in the little engines, the little electric motors, if you were say. So eventually it gave out. So you know, I went out and bought another one, and unfortunately they're not built the same. You know how it goes. You know, they start mass producing something, they get cheaper parts and everything. So I opened up the whole thing, and everything was just a whole different setup. It was all more plastic than anything, and it just wouldn't hold pressure with gravity fed alone. So that killed that plan, and I ended up going with a gas pressure washer in my previous van. You know, meanwhile I was doing a little bit of research trying to find another pressure washer, and the Kranzle always popped up as one of the, you know, best ones out there, but it was pretty pricey because it didn't come with any hoses, and that was way before this 1622 ever came out. So I ended up getting the Comet, I believe it's called. And it came with a reel and a hose and everything, and it was meant for gravity fed tanks too. So I said, you know, it'll be worth it. I think it was like $900. So I ordered it, and then apparently it didn't work out. It wouldn't hold pressure on my tank. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a defected item. So I sent it back and I got a refund. You know, that happened, so I stuck to gas again. So at the beginning of the year, I ended up selling my other van, and I ended up getting this one. And since I was going less water in my van, so I basically got the two RV tanks, and I think they're like 46 gallons each. So I only carry about 80 gallons in there now. So I wanted to make it more efficient with an electric pressure washer. And so I decided to look into the Kranzle again, and that's how I ran into the 1622. So 1622, I think it's rated to 1700 PSI, and give or take a little there. So what I really liked was that it was rated for 1.7 gallons per minute, and that's definitely a plus when you're not carrying a big tank. And then the other thing was that it wasn't drawing as much ampage as the 1322, I believe. So that was a plus, because a lot of times, you know, I'm only running my little electric, my 3500 Predator inverter generator, and I don't like to overcharge it, you know, run too much power on it at one time. And sometimes you're running a vacuum and you want to spray something real quick, like a floor mat, because you forgot to pull them out before you started washing. So you could run it at the same time, and it doesn't put too much wear on your generator. Because your generator is capable of doing that, I don't suggest you running it to max, because it's not going to last long. You're just going to put too much wear on it. So you want to help that thing out. So that's how this, you know, pressure washer really came in handy to me, because it basically met all my criterion, and it turned out great. So now after 3 months of using it, I'm in love with this thing, because it's just turned out real good. It's real efficient. I posted a video of an RV I did, and all I used was the 80 gallons I carry. So it's all about being efficient and learning how to, you know, use your wand, use the flow of the water to help you out, so you could spray your cars more efficiently without using as much water. So, you know, if your car is angled at this side, you want to start spraying it from top down. That way the flow, the gravity flow, you know, helps push all that water at the same time and takes all the soak. That way it's more efficient, like I said. You guys can see the water level to about here. And when I got out here, it was about here, so I didn't even have full tanks. So it was, you know, good 70 gallons. And we sat here and watched this 39 footer, you see, and that's the biggest reason why I was really all about, you know, going electric on this thing, because the water, you see the line, I still got pretty much to wash another car if I needed to. but I'm gonna do the inside of this one too, so I'm good for today. So as you guys seen, you know, this thing's really efficient. So if you guys can see right now, my water level's pretty low. So I probably got, you know, three or four gallons on this side, and probably the same on the opposite side, because they are hooked together. You know, there's a PVC pipe running across from each other. So I'm gonna say I got about 8 gallons of water right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and wash my little car. It's a tiny car, so it doesn't take much, but I'm gonna try to, you know, use as much water as I can and see if I can run this thing out of water. Another feature I really did fall in love with, that Kranzle pressure washer, that it came with this nozzle. It actually came with an extension attached to it. So what I did is I took it off that extension, and I couldn't find the thread, the exact thread to match it, to find one of these adapters for my gun. So what I ended up just doing was going to Lowe's and get a tapping set for a 1/4, and I just re-tapped it, and I screwed this tip back onto it, so now it's nice and short, because I'm not a fan of those extended ones. And I really like the feature of this tip, as you guys seen, because it's versatile, because you could, you know, have a wide spray or a narrow one, and sometimes you're under a dirty wheel well and you want to have a little bit more pressure, and you just adjust it. You don't have to go around and changing tips. You see, they all, like every manufacturer always has a little feature. Like Sunjo has this quick release tip. As you guys can see right now, it's basically open, so it won't lock up until I push something into it. See that? So when I got my first Sunjo, I wanted a short one, and I, you know, fought to find the thread to match it, because I think it was the same thread like I mentioned on this one, and it was one of those odd threads. It's real fine and everything, so, you know, and I couldn't find where I got this one again. So what I just did, I just ended up re-tapping this one. But Sunjo's gun had this quick release, so I did the same thing. So now I have a quick release. So you see, push it out and it stays out, ready for you to put a new one. So like when you're about to put your foam cannon on there, it's just a quick release and plug and play. I'm pretty sure Sunjo has a patent on this, but you know how that is. You know, it's probably expensive, so that's why nobody's using it. But like I said, I really do like this one, and it was definitely a good idea to switch it, because this actually holds the best PSI on that pressure washer, because it's designed for it. So it puts the right amount of water and everything, and I feel like ever since I did this, it just became more efficient and more water saving. And if I really did need to extend it, you know, I always carry an extension to put in between, and it works fine too. Well guys, if you guys can see the water level, it's about right here. So it really only used about half of the water I had there, if not less. As you guys can see, the car is nice and sprayed off. No soap remaining on it. You know, washed it pretty good. You know, it is a small car like I said, but it's hardly any water that I really use. That's the beauty of having an electric pressure washer, because you're gonna have less water consumption. And like I said, if you learn how to, you know, use the angles of the car or the slope where you parked at to wash your car, you know, that definitely helps, because all the water is just gonna help each other just get pushed off, and it's gonna help you save some water. All in all, guys, I'm real happy with this pressure washer. I think it's one of the best investments I've done in a long time. You know, I'm really glad I took the initiative to buy this thing, and it's definitely paying off. And you know, I've ran this thing dry several times already, and it's still running like it should. I think they have it rated to about 15 minutes run dry, but I definitely wouldn't try that one. But you know, I could tell it's definitely built right. Well, guys, in my honest review, I would definitely buy this pressure washer again. It's definitely a must if you're okay with running an electric pressure washer with not that much power. It's definitely a must if you ask me. And as you guys seen, it ran that foam cannon real good, so it's really nothing that's really holding it back. It's a great investment, and I hope this review was helpful to somebody. And if you guys like my content, please consider subscribing, give me a like, and we'll see you guys again. Talk to you guys later. Peace.